I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, and for real. Never meant to make your daughter cry. Apologize a trillion times. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh, I am for real. I'm embarrassing myself. I really need to stop. Okay. Hello, how are you? I hope you're good. Welcome to Halloween still, because it's October. How many times can I keep saying that before I annoy you? I should stop. I'm sorry. Anyway, so today I come to you with another book review, of course, and that book review is going to be on We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. I'm really happy I'm reviewing this one today. I did another Twitter poll and this one won at 36%. The Picture of Dorian Gray actually almost won at, it ended up getting 32%, and I would have really loved talking about The Picture of Dorian Gray, but still I really love this book as well, so I'm really excited to quickly discuss this today, hopefully quickly. Before we get into the book, I do want to talk a little bit about Shirley Jackson. So first off, We Have Always Lived in the Castle was published in 1962, and this is her final novel, as far as I know. So Shirley Jackson is probably someone that you have read in high school without knowing. She wrote the short story called The Lottery, which is one of those short stories that's so, it just sticks with you because of how crazy it is. It's just one of those stories. But she's also known for writing The Haunting of Hill House. This is my copy. I've read The Haunting and I've read We Have Always Lived in the Castle. This has gotten quite a few adaptations, and recently Netflix just adapted The Haunting into a TV series, which just premiered, and I just watched it and it's so good. I would love to make a video discussing the parallels, differences, and the similarities, and how great both stand on their own, but we'll see. I don't know. But anyway, so she's written The Haunting of Hill House. She's written so many short stories. I think she has 6 novels, maybe more. But one thing I really want to touch on before discussing this book is that Shirley Jackson had quite a short life. I believe she passed away when she was around 48-ish, somewhere in that area, due to heart issues, but I'm not sure if it was a heart attack or exactly what caused her to pass away, so I'm not really sure. But I do know in the last decade of her life she was dealing with severe anxiety and she was diagnosed with agoraphobia. It's really interesting in knowing that, because you see a lot of that in We Have Always Lived in the Castle in ways that we'll talk about in a little bit. Those are just some things that I wanted to share with you on Shirley Jackson. She is a native of San Francisco, which is really cool because it's not like I'm from San Francisco or anything, but I do live really close to San Francisco, so that's cool. Anyway, let's just talk about We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Now, finally, I ramble. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is told from our main character, Mary Cat Blackwood. She lives on the outside of this village in this mansion with her very, very, very small family. She lives with her older sister Constance and her uncle Julian. They live completely isolated from this village because the village that they live outside of hates this family. It completely hates this family, and the reason for that is because 6 years prior, the Blackwoods, the entire family that used to live at this house, was murdered. They were poisoned with arsenic. They were poisoned via sugar from the sugar bowl while they were eating dessert. So when this happened, the police and most of the villagers thought that Constance, the older sister, killed most of her family because she was the cook and she, I think, washed the sugar bowl after the incident. So she was put on trial but was later acquitted. But still, even to this day now, 6 years later, most of the village still hates Constance, hates the family. I think it's also really important to know that the village and the Blackwoods, this family, were never really on good terms because the Blackwoods, I think, are known for being wealthy, while most of these villagers cannot speak today, are rather poor. And that's all I want to tell you plot-wise, because I don't want to spoil anything, but most of the book is very yeah, you see things coming. Like, it's not very, whoa, you spoiled me, because it's kind of obvious. Okay, so what do I want to say about this book? There's so many things to talk about, or to discuss, really. Let's talk about Mary Cat, because she is our narrator. She's very important to the story. Mary Cat, we're told, is, at the very beginning, she tells us she's 18 years old. But in reading this, I think it's very clear that she does not feel like an 18-year-old. She feels like a child. She feels very naive and unremorseful and very just very closed-minded, if you would. She almost feels as if, though she's 18, she is a child, as like I just said. But when was she a child? 6 years ago, when these events with her family took place, it's almost as if she's stuck there, as if she hasn't progressed at all. And I could almost say this for the entire family, for her older sister as well. Her older sister is stuck in this mom role, and she hasn't grown from there, as well as her Uncle Julian, though her Uncle Julian would be a different story because he was affected by the arsenic and lived, but he, you know, hasn't grown at all. All three of them, it's almost as if this entire family, they live in this mansion outside of this village in their own bubble. They are comfortable and they say that they're happy, and you could tell that they are happy together just there. But I think the problem with that is that they are stuck. They aren't going anywhere. Though they are happy, I think it's really sad to see that they are stuck where they're at, because it almost feels as if they're in their own little Neverland. You know, you could say Mary Cat is Peter Pan, Constance could be Wendy, Julian could be a lost boy. Later on, we're introduced to another family member who shows up, who says that, you know, they're there for them, but quickly we're told that this family member actually just wants their family fortune. So you could say that this character, I think his name is Charles, you could compare him to Captain Hook, really, right? It's them being stuck in just this little piece of time, and that's not healthy. That's not good for these characters. It's not a good way to live, because they're not facing the issues at hand that they're dealing with. Their entire family was killed. You know, there are repercussions for this. They have to face the world, and they're just hiding. That's one of the biggest things that I think about when I think of this story. One thing I noticed with Shirley Jackson is that she likes to write about these dark settings with these haunted mansions, homes, and you would think that because, you know, the tone of these is so dark, that these homes must be haunted. It must have this supernatural element, but I don't really see it that way. I see it as if these places aren't haunted. It's more of the people within them that are haunted. These characters are haunted not by where they live, but they're haunted by their past, by their mistakes, by their fears, and so on and so forth. That's just something that I picked up on. Another thing with We Have Always Lived in the Castle that I wanted to talk about is just the writing style in general. This is a very simplistic writing style that's really easy to read and to digest, but also it's really it's filled with so many wonderful lines that just stick with you. And I mean, I could go through them right now, but I'm really lazy and don't want to. I'm really tired right now. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is a great story that I think everyone should pick up. It's filled with so many different themes. It's very dark and eerie in tone, and I wouldn't call it a horror novel. I would call it almost a family drama novel, but that being said, it's so good. It is so good, and I think it's perfect to read right now in October. I highly recommend We Have Always Lived in the Castle, and I highly recommend The Haunting. Both are really great. Read them. Okay, wonderful. I'm going to remember so many things that I should have mentioned later on, but oh well. If you've read this, I would love to know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and we can chit chat and all that great stuff. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in another video for a book review very soon. I think the next one is going to be The Picture of Dorian Gray. I just really want to talk about that one, so stay tuned. Bye.